What have I been up to the second week of May? Not the second week of May, the second week of April. Well, I set some tree seeds. And this is what I've recorded. I have more tree seeds from Incredible Seeds this year. I bought a pack of sugar maple, 30 seeds in there, a pack of beauty bush seeds, that's 20 seeds in there, and the northern ackberry, there was 10 seeds. That's what I have here. So the beauty bush says soak seeds in water 24 hours. Mix seeds with moistened grow medium equal to 3 to 4 times seed volume. Place in a plastic bag, covered tray cells or container. And then stratification, 120 days. Cold moist stratification. You place the plastic bag or container with the seeds and soil in your refrigerator. Check periodically for even moisture and germination, so they can germinate in your fridge. Okay, so this one is the beauty bush. Post stratification. Actually, let's check. So I put the tree seedlings in the fridge on the 8th of February. So 120 days from there, the 8th of June. So the beauty bush I would take out of the fridge on the 8th of June. Now post stratification, this is alternate soil temperatures. During the day 25 degrees Celsius and at night 18 degrees Celsius. So if I put these out by the south wall, or maybe I'll put them in a bigger container as well and put it down in there, then it should get that during our July-August portion. The northern ackberry, I'm supposed to soak seeds for 24 hours, mix with growing medium 4 times the volume, and place in a bag or container. And 90 days cold moist stratification, so that would give me May the 9th. So these has to go back in the fridge now. Post stratification, sow seeds 3/8 of an inch deep. Alternate soil temperature during the day 15 to 20 degrees Celsius, and at night 10 to 15. Water even and regularly. So these should have no trouble here. It's already to zone 3, as well as the beauty bush is zone 4 to 8. Sugar maple, I have one sugar maple growing out there, and I said no, I want more. So I was 120 days, so I won't be taking these out until June the 8th. And I just sow them in a peat perlite mix. Germination usually occurs in 30 to 60 days. For the northern ackberry, germination generally occurs in 60 to 75 days. So it takes a long time to germinate. And the beauty bush says it might germinate in the spring, but you might have to wait for a year for the beauty bush seeds to germinate. So I'm going to put them, when I take them out, put them in a smaller container and wait for them to germinate, and then hot pot them to a bigger container. Kentucky coffee tree. Now, I mentioned these before. I had some, and I put them in the soil for a year. It says seeds require scarification, so that's scratching the surface. Gently scratch the seed surface with sandpaper, then soak the seeds for 24 hours. Do not let them soak any longer. Yeah. So alternate soil temperatures during the day 30 degrees Celsius and at night 20 degrees Celsius. these things are not going to germinate here. The last few years we've had, in the middle of the summer, we've had those temperatures, but normally not so. When all previously mentioned requirements are fulfilled, germination generally occurs in 15 to 30 days. So I'll have to keep these in and probably put the have the heat mat turned on during the day and turn it off at night for these. Now, as far as scratching goes, I took my Dremel and I cut this seed all the way around. You see, so the light part inside, that's the actual seed, and this is just the seed coat. And I don't know if you can tell how thick it is, but it's really thick. You see, I made these 3 lines here. It was smoking and everything when I was trying to cut this. This is super hard. So, on my Dremel, I've got one of these little circular sanding wheels. And so you see how the seed is flatter one way than the other. So around this longer edge, I sanded it in until it started to lighten up like this. So I've really got it sanded hard. Otherwise, how is the water going to get in there? You see, this is the kind of tree that would grow in places. The gimbal is getting close to dead. Well, as I was saying, this is the kind of tree that will grow in places where you get hurricanes and tornadoes and that, where the seed really has to get a good beating before it can absorb water and germinate. So the gimbal has ran out of power now, but hopefully I can turn that back in the editing. At any rate, you see, I sanded it in, and the lightest spots there, that's the seed. So if I damage the seed itself, then it's definitely not going to grow. But I can sand through until I get an opening in that coat. Now, I only dug 9 back out of where I had them planted before. I might find the other one later, I don't know. So I've got 19 Kentucky coffee trees. Not actually coffee. That's that 9. So you just ground off the coat until you just barely got an opening. When I was doing this one, well, I can't really get the seed out, but I don't know if you can tell, I got a little cut around the outside edge of the actual seed. So I don't know if it's going to germinate. That might ruin it, but I'm going to plant that one anyway. I need to put these into water right now. I got some water boiled up there. It says to scarify these too. They haven't been as difficult to deal with. So you got the little seeds there. This is honey locust. These are too small. I wouldn't be able to do these with the Dremel just because you've got to hold it in so close. So I'll hold them sideways and just sand the edge of the seed. I'll get that seed to once. These normally they do, and you just keep repeating the boiling water. I just put them in a cup and I pour boiling water over them. And I have to do the same thing with the black locust seeds. And the black locusts are so tiny, I don't see how I'm going to be able to scratch those. And I didn't need to before. So I'll just repeat the hot water bath. So I need to get a couple cups in the hot water. Now the honey locust, they says the seeds can benefit from scarification. Lightly scratch the seed surface with sandpaper, then soak seeds for 24 hours, starting with boiling water, which is what I have here. These seeds, they're not big enough for me to hold on to and scratch them with the Dremel, so I've got some sandpaper here that I'll do a light scratching with. Guess I'll throw them directly in the cup. Black locust, it also says they could benefit from scarification, but they are so tiny that I wouldn't be able to hold them on to scratch them, so I'm just going to put them in the cup. Put these in there. You pour in boiling water. And then I'll put these back on the heat mat, and we'll go further with it tomorrow. Okay, so it's been 24 hours. Remember, I poured boiling water on top of these. This one is the black locust right here. It's got the most seeds, so let's pour them out. Now what I'm going to do, you see, you separate them, and you see this one here, it didn't expand. This is the original size of them, but most of them has absorbed water and swollen up. I think this one here needs to be redone as well, so I only have 2 seeds that I need to take and put back in the cup and give it another hot water treatment. So I have this. I've already put the soil in it. There's 3 broken out here. So this is 36 cells. 3 of them broken, so 33 cells I have. And I'll just drop 1 seed in each one. As you can see, I've got it a little bit. You see how it's a little bit down from the top? I'll just put the seed in there in the middle. We'll see how many we got. That one's light, but he's awful small, so he's going back in for another dip in the hot water. those three, I got three left there, and they're very small as well. So I'm going to put them in there. We got 6 seeds in there, and this is 33. So now just sprinkle some soil on top of them. Just a light sprinkling. Now these are very small seeds, so you can't have a lot of soil on top of them. They're only supposed to be down seeding a quarter of an inch deep. So like I done with the onions now. This is washed the soil right down onto the seed. Now I'll put these back on the grow shelf with plastic over them to keep the moisture in. Those are done. So this is the honey locust, and this is the one that's the least grown of the bunch. Least swollen up, but it is swelling. You can see down the edge there. So I can plant pretty much every one of those. This one here is the same thing. It's swollen here on the edge, but it's still hard over on the outer edge. Let's see if I can give you a better view of it. I don't know if you can tell how it's swollen on the one end, but still firm on the other. So they've all started to swell, so that's good. I've got this one here. Now, they need to go a little deeper, I think. Let's see, how deep am I supposed to? So 1/2 to 3/4 of an inch deep. So I'm going to have to put a little hole and put them down in the hole. If you can tell which end was attached to the pod, like on these, you can tell that the pod was attached right there. Then when you're setting them, set them with that end down, because that's the place where the root comes out. So if you can tell, I think it's this end that I put here. So I put it, and it's just vertical down in the soil. When the root comes out here, it'll be easy for it to push this seed shock up out of the soil. Oh, that's kind of what did I say I had here? Since I have 6 of those seeds left, I put the rest of these in here. So I got 12 here and 4 here, 16. I put that there. There's a couple of cells there I need to sprinkle a bit of soil in. Tomorrow, if those are ready, I'll put them in these 6 cells, and then I'll just have the 2 empty cells in here. Cat wants something, and it was just outside, so I don't know what it wants. Not enough soil in there. Okay, so I'll put this one back and put plastic over it. Now, these are really big, so I'm just going to dump them out like so. Okay, I'm going to get up and show you something. Where is the other part of this? So when you open up the seed, this is the one where I cut all the way around. And it has this gelatinous substance in it that since the water got into it, of course, it could swell up. And this is the seed. I don't think it's going to grow, but I'm going to set that seed without the shuck on it. And now this one is about fully swollen. You can see how they're different in size. Also, this one here is a little flatter. Now it's swelling up, so I don't mind that, but it is not as swollen as this one, which is fully swollen. I'm not going to set these in those little cells because it's an awful big seed. So what I'm going to have to do is set them in a bucket, and then when they sprout, I'll transplant them as they sprout. So I need to get a proper bucket. So this bucket, I got about half full soil. And since it's a nursery bucket, there's holes in the bottom, so I can't overwater it. I'll just lay them down flat. They're awfully close together, but I don't think that will matter. This is just potting soil, and this is a lump, so I have to break it up. And now the shelf that I'm putting this on, it has a heating mat under it, and the heating mat turns on during the day. It's on at the same timer as the lights. And so it'll turn on during the day and it'll turn off at night. Hold the excitement. Take the plastic off and I'll bring you in to show you. Now, the outer edge here is getting a bit dry, but they're up almost every one of 590 onion seeds. There's a few there not up. I gotta water this cauliflower. That's the red ball. The Falstaff hasn't come up yet. The red ball's up. And what did I plant over here? So broccoli, Romanesco, so Everest Romanesco, cauliflower snow crown. There's a Long Island Brussels sprouts and some lettuce. I'll have to maybe put a plastic back over this one. But now the lights are up there. I need to bring a light put a board across just above there so I can bring the light really close. Otherwise they'll grow long and leggy. But of course, first I need to give them another water and get that dry area to be moistened. So we see we need to bring the light down close. You can see how close it is, right? My hand, the width of my hand. And that is to keep them from growing tall and leggy. If you have your grow lights high above your plants, they'll grow really leggy like those are already started to in there. But they will get more stocky now. And I have to take those. I'm hoping the other 4 sprout and put them in a container like this. And even more excitement. It's been just a couple of days. This is Monday, and we put these in here on Friday, so Saturday, Sunday, Monday. And check it, all the seedlings is growing up. Now, see, these are all honey locusts, and I can count. There's one here on the end. I counted 12 growing out of 33. And those are put in a day later. Those were, there's 6 here that, the ones that didn't swell up right away. Now this is honey locust. You can see the seeds are bigger. But now each one of them that you see out of the ground, they are growing. They were completely buried first. You see that one there. And this one here is coming too, so. I count 11 honey locusts growing out of 16 so far. Now you notice this. See what I said about putting them with the part that attached to the pod down? Well, this one, it was up. But if you put them with the pod, the attachment side down, they come out of the ground like this. It's easier for them to come up like this, but you got a higher chance of the seed coat drying out and the seed leaves not being able to open the seed coat. So you put them in like this, they'll come up easier, but you have to give that seed coat, you might have to give that seed coat a spritz every now and then. If you got really small seeds, you see this one here? So what happened was that, it was only a 1/4 inch down, and the part where the root came out was sticking up, and so the root come up and grew totally out of the soil. It had to turn around and go back down before it could pull up the seed leaf end. So that'll be the end of the video, but excitement. Now this is potting soil. Remember, I sifted out the any big pieces out of it. And the onions were seed starting mix, purchased from the store, sterile and all that kind of stuff. And we're having much more success than we had last year. Thank you for watching, and I'll see you in the next video.